This next trip was using the same dose that I have been for the past couple of times. So it was 4 to 5 dried grams. I remained with the same kind of ritual that I've been doing for the past few times as well because I really enjoyed the tea experience. I feel like it really does help with the nausea and it does make the effects come on in a smoother way. I begin the experience the same way that I usually do. When I'm making the tea, I listen to either a relaxing chill step or psychedelic songs that I have come to enjoy. I feel it's important to use this time, at least for me, to make a solid foundation for my mind and just get a general good feeling vibe going on. And just in general, trying to keep my mind in a very open state and try to embrace my happy emotions and feelings. Once my tea is made, I usually, before I start drinking it, I always let the mushrooms know that I respect them and the lessons that they teach me. And I also ask that they keep me safe on my travels. Not that I need or want to be coddled, but because I know just how powerful some of the visions can be, and I want to be able to handle it if it gets too intense. And also, I try to make my intentions clear before entering into the realm. I ended up drinking the tea either on my back porch or on my couch. And then when I was done, before I started feeling the effects, I played some Fortnite. And I chose to play Fortnite because for me, the color palette is so vibrant that I figured it would continue good vibes during the come up. I feel like there's this small window of time that when I'm playing during the come up, right before it gets way too intense to handle and I have to go lay down, that it's almost makes me hyper aware and it improves my playing capabilities. So after it got too intense to handle, I went and laid in my bed. And it was daylight during the experience, but I had blacked out my windows to create a more darker ambiance. Also with me, underneath my big comforter, I have my childhood blanket that I got from my grandparents that I'm very fond of. It's actually one of my favorite blankets. The music that I chose for this trip was more of an ambient type music. I really wanted to experience just raw music itself and see where that took me instead of maybe having the words kind of dictate where your experience goes. At some point, I had to get up and go to the bathroom like I usually do. And when I'm in the bathroom, this fairly intimidating thought came to mind. Not like it was one of my own thoughts, but like someone communicating to me. And it said, "You were only here because we let you." And that kind of shook me up a bit, to say the least. I decided after experiencing all that I needed a break from the bed. So I got up and sat on the couch with my wife. The visuals that I was having on the couch next to my wife had a more natural feel to them, like they were a lot more nature based. And in the middle of my visions appeared the side shot of a woman in a white, very flowy dress with her hair transforming into an afro that was made out of tree branches, and it was slowly growing. I think that this vision was in response to my earlier experience in the bathroom where the voices in my head was giving me a very unsettling vibe. She reassured me that I was fine and that she would make sure that nothing bad happened to me. And hearing that and feeling that energy kind of brought me back to a very calm state. And then my thoughts went towards trying to see if I could possibly connect with my grandfather who had passed away. So I tried to see his face again in my visions, but I wasn't able to make him appear. So I started to think that that's probably not how this works. After some time, I began to experience what I would call the pain of survival, in that I feel like I was shown everything that I have had to do to survive for my entire bloodline, and maybe even farther back than that. And I was able to see how my anger stems from a place where I needed to survive, and I would do anything to achieve that goal. I just remember these visions being very primalistic, and it was blowing me away. I decided that I needed to change the scenery again, so I went back and lay down in my bed, and the visions that I started to have while I was there was the usual mandalas, and they started to become populated with these entities or beings trying to show me things and trying to get my attention. I wouldn't necessarily say they were trying to impress me, but I feel like they were trying to blow my mind and show me things that were more increasingly complex, beautiful, and just amazing. Then the visions started to get a little more edgy, and they were populated with like cartoon eyeballs and sharp teeth. The visions started to get to a point where they were too intense, and I just needed to open my eyes and take a break for a minute. And when I closed them, the visuals were considerably less intense, almost as if the mushroom like knows, because I opened my eyes, that was a boundary that needed to be set, and they kind of backed off. The vision started ramping back up, and then I got to a point where I came in contact with these two female entities, and the way things were going, it was starting to get more of like a sexual vibe to it. And being that I'm married and I know what that means to me, it just felt wrong. So I decided to set another boundary there and just open my eyes and stop the visuals altogether. And the last thing I remember from this trip was when I got up towards the end of the trip, I remember feeling like I couldn't control my thoughts, and it made me feel kind of like I was going insane, like I had never not been able to control my thoughts or the pattern of my thoughts or anything. So it kind of freaked me out quite a bit. This experience made me further realize that not every experience is going to be all rainbows and butterflies. That sometimes you're going to have an experience that you're going to have to do some deep mental work, and it's going to can be challenging at times, but nonetheless I feel like all of it is healing.